Hey everyone, Admiral Seabass here. Um, Spending some time today getting ready for my Global War 36 game and also going through all my French pieces that I store in here and then adding in the pieces from the new historical board gaming French set. And you can see here that I finally combined everything together. Um, and, I already had the Europe 40 French pieces. I already had some pieces from historical board gaming, and then I just added in the new French set. So I wanted to show you this. I've got a spreadsheet here that I use to track all my pieces for Global War 36. You see I've got tabs on the bottom there for every country. And I've called out every unit, what sculpt I'm using, whether I own it or not, where I got it, and then the number that I need in any notes. And you can see here, this French set that I've got has really changed the game for me. Before I got this, I couldn't really have, and I don't paint pieces, by the way, in case you're wondering yet. I don't paint them yet. Would love to not to. So I want a unique sculpt for everything, and I don't want to have to paint my own. So I didn't have any of the advanced stuff in French before because I didn't have unique sculpts for them. But now with this new set, I do. And so you can kind of see here what I've done. And let's start with the infantry. For the regular infantry, I'm still going to use the Europe 1940 sculpt. For the militia, I'll use the Europe 40 sculpt, but with a militia chip underneath. This is the mountain infantry that I already bought from HBG. For Marines, I'm going to use the new French infantry sculpt. Put them on a Marine chip. For the French Foreign Legion, I'm going to use the new French Foreign Legion sculpt from HBG, put them on a French Foreign Legion. And for the airborne, that's a normal airborne sculpt from HBG in blue. So that's what I'm going to do. You could do something different, of course. And then I've got the cavalry already. For artillery, I'm going to use the normal Europe 40 French sculpt for the normal artillery, and I'm going to use the new which I believe is called the 105 millimeter 1935 here. I'm going to use that for heavy artillery or advanced artillery for the French. And then for mechanized infantry, I'm going to use actually for motorized infantry, I'm going to use the Europe 40 mechanized sculpt for motorized infantry because it kind of looks like a truck and it's got wheels. And then I'm going to use the new French Lorraine mechanized sculpt for the mechanized infantry for Global War 36. And then for tanks, I'm going to use the new heavy tank sculpt from the French set for light tanks. I'm going to use a previous blue tank that I bought. It kind of looks like a Sherman tank to me. I'm not sure which piece this is. I'm going to use these for medium tanks, and then the Europe 40, because they're bigger than the other two, I'm going to use the Europe 40 sculpt for heavy armor if the French ever get that. I'll try to figure out where I got these. These are called heavy tanks, but they're smaller than the two sculpts that I had, and they kind of look like a World War I leftover. So they kind of think in this game they'd be more light tanks. So for aircraft, I'm going to use the new French D520 fighter for the normal French fighter. For the French TAC bomber, I'm going to use the new B690 sculpt, which is right here. For a medium bomber, I'm going to use the new sculpt. It's French B210 for the medium bomber. For the strategic bomber, I'm going to use an Allied blue. This is a medium bomber sculpt, but I'm going to use it for a French strategic bomber in this game. And then for the heavy strategics, if the French ever got those, I'm going to use the existing Europe 40 strategic bomber sculpt. And then for air transports, I already had these. These are just the standard air transport in French blue. And then for the Navy, this is the fun one. For transports, I'm going to use the Golo sculpt, which is new from historical board gaming. This is the normal Allied escort carrier sculpt in French blue. This is the new normal size or fleet carrier sculpt from the new set, and that one is called the Bairn class. For subs, I already had the HBG Coastal sub for France, and I already had the HBG Torpedo Boat Destroyer for France, so I'm going to go ahead and use both of those. For the normal subs, I will use the new sculpt, which is the Redoutable. And for advanced subs, if they ever get it, I'll go ahead and use the Europe 40 French sculpt. For destroyers, I'm going to use the new sculpt, the Le Fantasque. That's the new sculpt. Those will be the normal destroyers in my Global War 36 game. For light cruisers, I'll use the destroyer sculpt from Europe 40 because they're kind of in between this size and the cruiser. So for the cruiser, I'll use the new sculpt from the set, which is the Suffren. For the battle cruiser, I'm going to use the cruiser sculpt from Europe 40 because, again, it's kind of in between, and I can't imagine the French ever creating more than 2 battle cruisers in Global War 36. I know just the other day I told you I used the Nevada class for the French battle cruisers, and I did, but now with this new set, I don't have to do that anymore. And then for the battleship sculpt, these are amazing. These are the Richelieu class battleships for the French from the new set. So yeah, with that, I have really filled out my French set here. And basically I now have sculpts for every single unit in Global War 36 version 2, including the advanced units. Again, by being creative and mixing and matching and deciding to maybe go out of the box here a little bit here, like this one, using these heavy French tanks for light tanks because they're smaller than these other two, you can really put together a nice set and you can cover all the pieces. Now, all that said, the French are never likely to develop special class units in this game. Although I saw a really cool playthrough between General Hand Grenade and Rank Carcass and some others from a couple weeks ago, where the German player used his double move to attack the Russians and did not attack the French, and the French survived the whole game. So in that case, you might need all these units. But I wanted to give you an idea of how I kind of piece things together for this game, and I'm getting super excited for this game of Global War 36. And if anyone would be interested in this, let me know, and I'd be happy to share that as well. All right, everyone, this is the Admiral Seabass French unit set for Global War 36. Signing off.